Hello, friends. How are you? Thank you so much for stopping by. And today I'd like to share with you something that, it's a controversial topic. It's a difficult topic. It is something that brings up, feelings of guilt and shame, and therefore it's not talked about a whole lot. But in private practice, I'm a private hypnotherapist and coach, and in private practice, we deal with a whole lot of situations like this, and it's people looking to overcome the addiction to pornography. So, first of all, I'm going to present one point of view to you. For some of you, it might resonate, you might really like this, it might be of great help to you. Some of you might not like what I have to say, or might not agree with this point of view, and that's perfectly okay. But I can tell you that I've been able to help hundreds of men overcome addiction to pornography and live better lives simply by practicing these ideas that I'm about to share with you. And it's interesting because you can do this by yourself. You can call me and come to the office, and I'll be more than happy to help you. But you can actually do this by yourself as well, simply by, take notes, because I'm going to give you several steps here. Practice these steps. It's not instantaneous. It's not magic. Of course, if you came to the office and we used hypnosis, it can be a lot shorter. But if you're practicing this on your own, you can also overcome addiction to pornography or any other addiction for that matter and improve the quality of your life a whole lot. So the first thing I'd like to tell you is that in the consumption of pornography, there is this component of fantasy, right? Sexual fantasy, which always culminates with an orgasm, typically self-induced, because although some people use pornography in the context of a couple for sexual stimulation within the couple, it is typically not what people mean when they talk about addiction to pornography. In other words, if a couple is using pornography to stimulate their sex lives, rarely they call the office and say, well, we're addicted to pornography. Usually it's something that they do together, and for the most part, it's not a problem. When a person calls a clinical setting like our office and says, I have a problem with pornography, usually it is something that they're doing alone, and therefore the sexual satisfaction is self-induced. And that's important because it becomes a sex life in of itself. In other words, the addiction to pornography, is associated with an entirely parallel sex life. It's like having another mate. It's like having another partner, or having a partner if the person doesn't have any. And that's important because there's a relationship that's taking place there within the person's mind with the characters that they're being stimulated by. So there's several things that we can do, or that we have to do here, in order to overcome this addiction. One of which is to analyze the contents of your fantasy. In the case of pornography, it's really easy because you're going to pay attention to the type of pornography that you consume. So nowadays, when you look at pornography, you can search for anything that you want. There's so many variations and so many types of pornography that you can consume, right? I want this type of sexual act, or this type of situation, or this type of, right? Take a look at what you tend to gravitate towards. In other words, if you're always looking for a particular type of sex act to be stimulated by, pay attention to that, but without getting involved in the self-stimulation, without getting into the masturbation part of it. Simply pay attention to what you're paying attention to, but from a detached point of view. And ask yourself, why does that seem so appealing, so interesting to me? Why is that turning me on? Why is that particular act so important to me? So by observing the act that you seem to like or gravitate towards, but without the sexual component, in other words, you actually physically take a step away from the screen. Suppose you're using a computer to watch pornography. Well, take a step back, for instance, and look at it without undressing, without touching yourself, without getting into the whole sexual thing. Just take a look at it and ask yourself, why is that so appealing? Why is that turning me on? And I guarantee you that some ideas will run into your mind. And in most cases, people tell me, wow, when I look at it that way, the way you're describing now, it doesn't seem so appealing anymore. And that's exactly the point. When you look at something that creates a great deal of passion within you, but when you look at it dispassionately, detached, without the physical pleasure component that goes with it, suddenly it loses its appeal. What's up with that? So that's the first step, to look at something from a dispassionate point of view. So do that. The second thing we're going to do is use something called your willpower. Okay, and this we're going to have to use in any kind of addiction. So addictions function with this thing that they call urge. In other words, you might be going about your day, suddenly get this urge to masturbate, to have an orgasm, and the person who's addicted to pornography usually uses the pornography to stimulate the whole sexual feeling in order to consummate that feeling in the orgasm, right? It's self-induced typically. Okay, so when you get that urge, the second thing I'd like to suggest you do is use your willpower to divert the focus of your attention into something else by telling yourself, not now. Now listen to me carefully. I'm not asking you to tell yourself, no, I won't do that. Because if you have ever seen a child, if you tell a child, no, you cannot do it, no, you cannot have it, and I'm not referring to masturbation or pornography, I'm saying no to anything, a candy bar, let's say, you say, no, you cannot have it. What does that child tend to want even more? Whatever you said no to. And we're all like that. We're all a little bit rebellious. And whatever you say no to, we tend to want more of. So I don't want you to say no to pornography. I want you to say not now. Now you might say it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? No, it's not the same thing. I'm asking you to wait an hour. So if you get the urge right now, wait an hour. Say not now, I'll wait an hour. And what are you going to do during that hour? You're going to do something that is productive for you. You know, if you're working on your physical shape, you're going to go for a jog, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to exercise a little, you're going to read a book, you're going to clean your room, you're going to do something that is productive. Clean the bathroom, wash your car, do something that is productive that elevates the quality of your life during that hour. Because you're going to notice something. The moments you get the urge to masturbate and to consume pornography are typically moments when you feel it's some sort of low in your life. It is very difficult. I have never seen this at the office when a person tells me, you know what, everything was perfect, everything was awesome, I felt good about myself. Suddenly, I feel like watching porn and masturbating. That doesn't typically happen. What typically happens is a person gets into a bind, they get into a difficult situation, they get into something that they get stuck on, I don't know what to do, I'm depressed, I'm sad, something happens, somebody offended me, I'm kind of stuck. And suddenly the mind takes you into that urge because it serves as an escape. All addictions serve as an escape from something that I don't know how to solve, an issue that I don't know what to do with. So we're going to interrupt that cycle by saying, not now. And not for an hour, not now. That leaves your mind open to the possibility that an hour from now it could happen. So you're not saying no to yourself, you're saying not now. But during that hour, you're going to do me a favor. You're going to do something that is productive to you. If you have to finish the assignment, finish the assignment. If you have to write a paper, write the paper. If you have to make the phone call, make the phone call. If you have to clean up the room, clean up the room. Do whatever it is that you have to do during that hour. And make sure that at the end of that hour, you feel good about yourself. Now, some people tell me, dude, I'm exhausted most of the time, you know. And I tell them, have you thought of taking a nap for an hour during the day? Sometimes that's the best thing you can do to become more productive is to take a nap. So I've actually talked people at the office into taking a nap, not at the office, but, you know, when they're home and they feel that they get the urge, I say, take a nap, literally sleep. Because if you're exhausted, what happens to your willpower? It's decreased. So your ability to fight your own addiction is decreased by your own exhaustion. So if you're feeling that urge and you're exhausted, go take a nap. That's a productive thing to do at that point. So notice what we're doing. We're interrupting the action without denying ourselves of something that we consider at that moment to be pleasant. So we're simply saying, not now, I'm going to wait an hour. During that hour, we're going to do something that is highly productive. So I'm suggesting to you only two of the several techniques that we use at the office. Number one, I want you to pay attention to what you pay attention to when it comes to pornography. What types of acts or images or videos do you tend to gravitate towards? What do you tend to like when it comes to pornography? What is your taste? What is your, and what I want you to do is to put those images on once and watch them from a detached point of view, literally, physically. Step away from the image, literally, and take a look at it without stimulating yourself sexually. In other words, separate the consumption of the images from the sexual feeling within you and look at it for what it is until it becomes dispassionate, like you no longer care for it. That's one step. Now, it may not happen at first because there's a habit there, but in time, you're going to look at that as being uninteresting. Number two, every time you get the urge to go do it, you're going to tell yourself, not now, not for an hour. And during that hour, you're going to do something highly productive for yourself. Let me know how that works for you by writing on the comments below, and I'll answer your questions. And please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And by all means, click on the little bell so you can get the continuations to this video, because I'll be sharing with you the other steps that it's going to take for you to totally overcome your addiction to pornography if you're in that situation. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'm so glad that we had this moment to communicate. Thank you.